Hi everybody, it's Yasmin Boland here. A bit rushed today. How you doing? So who did their new moon wishes yesterday? Were you here? Did you do some new moon wishes with me? If not, we are still in the new moon phase, so it's very much still a time to make your wishes. We make new moon wishes for the reasons I explained yesterday, because the veil between the world is at its thinnest. So we've moved the camera a bit today. You can actually see my beautiful tables that I use for everything. I have got, let me show you, because everyone's always interested in altars, aren't they? So I've got a picture of the goddess Narayani. That's Narayani, who is the goddess made up of the three goddesses that I love: Lakshmi, Saraswati and Durga. Lakshmi being the goddess for love and abundance, Saraswati being the goddess of divine feminine wisdom, and Durga the goddess with the power to destroy ignorance. Okay, so I'm very strongly associated with Narayani, and that's when we say Om Namo Narayani, means I surrender to the Divine Mother, it's the goddess. And there's Mary, who I also am very fond of. Some of you might relate to it with me. When I was little, kind of a teenager, I used to think I couldn't talk to Mary because I wasn't good enough. I was such a bad teenager, I thought. I wasn't actually. But I felt like I wasn't good enough to kind of approach Mary. And I was talking to someone, I've been doing this sort of, it's like a priestess initiation, and here in London. And I mentioned this, and the teacher there said, yeah, that's actually really common. Mary's not like that, but there's this feeling of many women of like, I'm not good enough. I'm not holy enough. I'm not, I don't know, special enough. But anyway, now Mary and I get on just fine, because I see that Mary fits into the whole panoply of the divine feminine. And so this is my yantra, which I would love to be able to tell you more about, but I have not studied this at all. All I can tell you, I get these from India, from the ashram that I go to. Everybody keeps asking, which ashram is it? It's the Sri, which is spelled S-R-I, Sri Narayani Peedam in southern India. Sri Narayani, N-A-R-A-Y-A-N-I, Sri Narayani Peedam in India. Someone said to me yesterday, why did you choose the Sri Narayani Peedam? And I said, she said, there are so many to choose from. I said, I have no idea. I was called. I mean, I could almost say it chose me. And quick story I might have told you before, but basically I was in a coffee shop and I was filling in some time because I had two flats. One I owned and one I was renting. The one I owned was in Sydney, Bondi Beach, and I'd sublet it to this lovely couple. And so they'd moved in there, and the one I had in Paris, I had actually sublet it to a friend. So I should say the one I had in Sydney, which I owned, I had let to two lovely people. And I was living in Paris, and I'd sublet my flat in Paris at the same time. So I had this 5-week period where I had nowhere to go, nowhere to live. And I could have lived with my mum and dad, but I thought, you know what? Let me just go to India. I've always wanted to spend a decent amount of time in India. This is the time to do it. So I ended up going to a coffee shop, and well, long story short, I had a conversation in the coffee shop, and within about 10 days I was in India at this ashram. And I remember driving to the airport with my mum thinking, why am I going to India? What happened? Like, how did this even happen? So I keep telling you I'm writing about this in a book, and I am going to write about this in a book. I've actually literally just started to put together the proposal for the big head of Hay House UK. So there we go. So now, everything I know about yantras, I have learned at the ashram in India. So that was about 15 years ago, and I've been going on a regular basis since then. A yantra they're very popular and common in India. It's metal. Pretty sure, I actually don't know if it's copper or brass. I think they come in both. And you can't see it, unfortunately, but this one, it's beautiful. It's inscribed with my most favorite sacred symbol, which is the Sri Chakra, which is an amazing super sacred symbol. And if you happen to have my book, the Mercury Retrograde book, it's actually on the inside pages, because I asked them, please can we put it in there, because I wanted to add this sort of sacred element to the book, because the book is extremely practical and astrological, but I thought I just want to add just a touch of the divine. Anyway, so guess what a yantra is? And I'm just learning about this, but it is a physical manifestation of a mantra. So you know how we do the mantras? Well, the yantras are basically the physical manifestation, like a physical depiction of the mantras. So I'm learning, we're all learning at the same time. I've connected with someone in the States who's actually done the Vastu of our new house. I called him about mantras, but we ended up talking about Vastu. Like, Vastu is like basically Indian Feng Shui. And it's really cool actually, because it turns out you can use mantras and yantras around the house to kind of balance up the energies. And Vastu actually led to Feng Shui, so they don't conflict at all. Because I've always done Feng Shui with the beautiful Darrell Ball at Centane Consultants. So now I'm going to add an extra layer of Vastu. I'll be reporting back to Darrell if she wants to know. So there you go. So today, we had the new moon yesterday. So like I said, I hope you've made your wishes. If you haven't made your wishes, it's not too late. Yay! It's not too late because we are in the new moon phase for about 3 days. If you have my diary, put them in there. It's a brilliant thing to put them in there. The diary's sold out, as I always say, so don't go and try and find it. But the 2021 is online now. Put them in there, because then you get a record. The more you use this diary as a journal, I think, the better. But it also works just purely as a journal, so that's fine too. And if you would like to know the basics of the new moon manifesting procedure or process that I use, you can get a free kit. It's at moonmessages.com/new kit, moonmessages.com/new kit. And while I'm telling you about stuff, by the way, absolutely last call for my Written in the Stars webinar today. We actually have over 200 people registered. Amazing. It's all about, if you're Cancerian rising only, not Cancerian, not any other sign, just Cancerian rising, it's for you. And we're going to be doing a guided tour around your chart, looking at the energies for the year ahead, and we'll be making some new moon wishes because we're still in the new moon phase. It's going to be great. And to get to there, I've put a link in the description on Facebook, but it's moonmessages.com/written, like written in the stars, moonmessages.com/written. Okay, so that was a little bit of chit chat. What I actually wanted to do today was I wanted to do a bit of chanting. I hope that's okay with everybody. But I'll tell you why. There's a really strong astrological reason for doing this. We're actually, now we've had the new moon, and now we're moving towards the next planetary alignment is going to be Mercury square Pluto. Okay, now Mercury is the mind and Pluto is paranoia and power struggles and passion. It's a tough link between the two of them. So it could be a time where people are going to start to get a little bit antsy. You might start to do your own head in. You might be starting to drive yourself crazy. One of the great things, for those of you who've been joining me, I've been doing the chanting before we come on here. So normally we do half an hour of chanting on Zoom, and there's a link on my events page. It's completely free. And then you come here and we do the chat. And I think what that chanting is doing, because we're doing the Mahalakshmi chant, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with now if you've been tuning in on a regular basis. We've been doing this chant, which is designed largely for the time of coronavirus, to get rid of the negativity of the coronavirus. But I think the unexpected benefit of chanting to get rid of all negativity is it actually helps us to get rid of fear. Okay, so it's a really important time. If you know the chant, and you haven't done it today, do 10 minutes of chanting of it. Simply because, at the moment, as my lovely friend Colette Barron-Reed says, I always want to credit her. She says, there's the coronavirus and there's the fear virus, and you don't want to get either of them. Because as soon as you go into fear, that's when everything starts to fall apart. If you can stay out of fear, so much the better. And I know that lots of people are suffering financially. Absolutely my heart goes out to you. And I'm just going to say this with love. try to focus on a solution. Okay, try to focus on a solution. I'll just give you a very quick example. About probably 8 years ago now, we had an American client who paid us quite a crazy amount of money a year. I mean, touch wood, we'll get another one who wants to do that. Crazy, I mean, such a lot of money a year to write horoscopes for a particular USA website. So we had that going, and we had lots of other things, and it was really good because we just bought a house and we were renovating. This was in Bondi in Sydney. And then one day, after like 2 years of this massive injection of income every month, I got this email going, oh, by the way, sorry, we can't afford to pay you anymore. We're not doing the stars anymore. I was like, oh. And I spoke to a couple of people in my life, and I actually did a bit of Googling as well about what happens when you lose your biggest client. Or, you know, if you've lost your job at the moment, you can Google what to do when you lose your job. It was so helpful. Plus, I talked to some friends of mine who gave me some pretty good business advice. Some of which was, well, Yasmin, you have to be careful, you know, when you've only got one income stream. If you're freelance, you have to have more than one income stream because you don't want to leave yourself exposed like that. But the long and the short of it was, the message was, focus on a solution. Focus on a solution. So I gave myself, I don't know how long it took now, a couple of days to get over the shock. Luckily, we had literally just finished our renovations, which was amazing. It was like perfect cosmic timing. I'd actually kind of been praying that the American income would renew, like it was always renewed 1 year at a time. And I remember thinking, please let it just go for this year because we need it to pay for the renovations because we were pulling the back of the house off and so on, renovating a beautiful old Bondi cottage and just making it a bit more user-friendly. Anyway, so I focused on the solution, and that is basically how I got to the situation we're in now with work, where we have a really thriving online business. Okay, and we actually earn more now online than we did from that one particular client who kind of like disappeared like that. So what I'm trying to say is, when things are difficult, as to quote Abraham Hicks, think about what you do want, don't think about what you don't want. Okay, so when we lost that massive client, I probably only wallowed for like 3 days, going, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Okay, what are we going to do? And I focused on the solution. I spoke to my husband, who's my business partner. He said, right, one thing that we have learned from this is we cannot rely on other people to pay us like this. We have to generate income off the website, which is why we started offering more and more website stuff. And, you know, it gave us financial freedom and independence. And so I still have our outside clients, but we now focus so much on what we can do for ourselves. And that is what came from a big upset financially. Okay, so what I want to say to you is this is the great pause right now. Uranus, the planet of technology, is in Taurus, one of the 2 signs associated with abundance. If you can go online, if you have something that from your heart, with love and integrity, you can offer the world, okay, this is the time to build it, okay? And I'm just going to give you a tiny little bit of digital marketing advice here. Don't just build it and expect people to turn up. The promotion of it is just as important. So you need to run Facebook ads, and you need to do things like what I'm doing right now, Facebook Live, so people can see what you're offering and they decide if they like it or they don't like it. You want to write blog posts and all that, and then your plans will come to light. Okay? It's just the time for it. Okay? Now, why am I talking about all this right now? I'm talking about it because I know a lot of people are doing it financially tough right now, and I know a lot of people have lost their jobs, or they've been furloughed, or the future's uncertain. Mercury, the planet of the mind, coming into a clash with Pluto is going to make everybody go even crazier. So you need to be thinking, not just we're going to chant, which we are, we're going to chant to clear our chakras, which will clear away any fear. Okay, it really does work, this chant. But also, once you've done the chanting, go and make a plan, okay? Go and think about, what can I do? What is my potential solution? There is always something that you can do that other people will pay you for, even if it's, you know, babysitting, probably not now in coronavirus, but you know, there are things we can all do. Like at the moment, you know, if you are highly unskilled and you can't get a job, you know, all the supermarkets are asking for delivery drivers. If you don't have any particular qualifications that you can turn into, you know, teaching online or whatever, there's something for everybody. And I hope that didn't come out the wrong way. I hope you know what I mean. But I know, for example, there are plenty of people who would usually be doing tasks, you know, that are not based on a particular qualification, who are like, well, I can't go and be a handyman now, or I can't go and, you know, do this, that, or the other. There's so many people hiring, okay? And if you can teach something, teach it online, okay? I'm going to stop it there because I'm starting to feel a bit weird about all this. So I hope I didn't offend anyone just then by saying if you are highly unskilled. What I mean is, it doesn't matter if you don't have any qualifications. We are all qualified to do something. You know, we can all do something. And, you know, some people might not have particular formal training, but maybe you can play the guitar. Okay, we'll teach people how to play the guitar. Or, you know, if you, I mean, we had music lessons coming to the house, and now those same people are offering music online lessons. You know, offer yoga online, offer Reiki. Go and, you know, sweep your neighbor's garden. Do whatever it takes and focus on solutions. Okay, really important, especially now with Mercury about to clash with Pluto. I hope that's okay. I feel a bit uncomfortable about what I've said, but hopefully you all know it's coming from my heart with love, and I'm not trying to, you know, be annoying. We all just do what we can do. I'm doing this, you know, as I said initially, it was to get me out of bed and get me dressed, and honestly, it saved my life. I don't know what I would have done without doing these daily sessions. I would have hung around in my pajamas all day, and I think I would have probably slumped into a bit of a depression. All right, so here we go. We are going to do the chakra chant, the chakra clearing chant, one of my favorites. Give me a heart, please, if I haven't offended you, if you're okay with what I've been saying. Okay, I'm seeing some hearts. Thank you. Because I really, you know, sometimes I just blather on, and it's really easy to say the wrong thing, and I really don't mean to. I'm just trying to say there is a solution for everybody, and we just have to get out there and find it, you know. If you're good with numbers, you know, offer to do Excel spreadsheets for someone, or if you're good with Excel spreadsheets, you know, if you're I don't know what, but, you know, think of something. Try to focus on a solution, and also think, how can I be of service? All right, got to do the chant because I've got to go and get ready for my Written in the Stars webinar in half an hour. So we're going to clear our chakras. I'm going to clear out all my concern about what I've just said. Here we go. We'll do it 3 times. So if you can listen, oh, thanks for all the hearts, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mwah. It's, you know, it's very confronting getting up doing these things every day, let me tell you. But it's worth it as well, you know, like it's kept me going doing these, and I'm probably going to keep doing them after we all get out of lockdown, because it's such a good discipline for me, and it's a great way to communicate. So there we go. And I always read all your comments afterwards. Here we go. Chakra chant, chakra clearing chant 3 times. Hari Om Nam Lam Mam Vam Sim Ram Vam Yam Yam Ham Shiva Ram Swaha Hari Om Nam Lam Mam Vam Sim Ram Vam Yam Yam Ham Shiva Ram Swaha Hari Om Nam Lam Just breathe for a moment. Let's dedicate the next 24 hours to the divine, to being of service in any way we can, and to focusing on solutions to any issues which come up. Om Namo Narayani, Om Namo Narayani, Om Namo Narayani. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. If you are Cancerian rising and you've signed up for the webinar, I'll see you online in about 28 minutes. If you're Cancerian rising and you haven't signed up for the webinar and you want to, moonmessages.com/written. Leo rising, it's you next month. Lots of love. Have a beautiful day.